Welcome to ADHD Focus, where we explore what ADHD really means, from diagnosis to real-life solutions and how to navigate it with confidence. This is your guide to understanding ADHD and living well with it. Here's your host, Dr. David Pomeroy.
Hello, this is Dr. David Pomeroy, your host of the podcast ADHD Focus with David Pomeroy, MD. And I'm so glad you joined us today. We're going to be talking about something that is a central issue for so many people with ADHD, I think probably for all of us, and that is motivation and how it escapes us and what we can do, some of the ways to help bring it back. And my guest today is Dr. Tamara Rosier, who is an author, a ADHD coach, and founded the, help me get this right, Tamara, ADHD Center of Michigan?
Western Michigan. Yeah, good job.
Western Michigan, okay. Where they had so much smoke a while ago that nobody probably wanted to go to work. You didn't want to go outside.
I saw the levels were up to 800. I didn't know it went up to 800. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they aren't there now, and I'm so glad to have you back on the show. It's always great to talk with you.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Sure. So motivation, and what I hear from patients often is that I'm great in the morning and I lose my motivation in the afternoon. Do you think I need a different medicine, or maybe I need a higher dose? And other people just say, well, I'm not motivated, to which Jeff Copper would say, yes, you're motivated to do something. It's just not what you need to do.
Right.
You're motivated to look at YouTube or stare out the window or whatever. But we want to be motivated to do what's on the task list, or whether it's work or home, things that we know need to be done. We should do them.
Yeah.
We know they're important, but we still go do something else.
When I work with my clients, there's two things. First of all, they have the erroneous expectation of consistent motivation.
Yes.
And we do not have on-demand motivation. No, That's not us. I don't know if humans even have it. I'm not a normal human, so I wouldn't know. But we don't have on-tap motivation. And so then we have to think a little bit more strategically. And so we have to go through and we need to, the ADHD brain usually doesn't know what, when, and how to do something. So if I'm trying to do something, usually my motivation is hidden behind one of those doors.
And it's so emotion-based, and ADHD brains think or do things based on emotions. Our prefrontal cortex is what's offline if there's not diagnosed, or your medication isn't so effective, whatever.
Okay, so motivation is emotionally based, and it's emotionally based really for many humans, if not all. I used to teach an entire graduate course on motivation. The difference is we don't have the executive function to kind of override the limbic system to go, yeah, you have big feelings. Let's do it anyway. So we have the big emotions, but let's go back to what, when, and how, because if I open the door, there's sometimes my clients don't know what to do. And here's what they've done instead. Well, I know I need to get this done. But they don't know, they have feelings about it, so they don't even want to open that door. And then when they open that door, they're like, okay, I don't know if I really know what the task is. Yeah,
it's got a label or a line, but how do I really get started on this?
Yeah. And so you've read my book, so you know this, but I'll say this again for your listeners.
Please do.
Frequently I'll say, so we have to talk about, this thing you have to do. Yes. You tell me what this thing is, they describe it. Okay. What would be the first step of this thing? And my client will say, oh, well, definitely I would need to blah, blah, blah. And all I do is repeat it back to them and say, and that is the first step. And they say, no, that's not the first step. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
And
using your words, but whatever. No, I don't say that part.
no,
That's just
but
been in my head.
talking it through, and as we hear ourselves say the words, we think, oh, that's
That's
not
not it.
exactly right.
So then I
Thinking out
say,
loud.
yeah. So then I say, okay, what would be the first step? And they say, this is or they say this, I would have to do this before that. And so I repeat it. And I'm like, that is the first step. And you know this game. They'll go, well,
How,
no,
how many times does it take to get to the first step?
usually three. I've
Really?
gone up to four, or I've gone up to 5 or 6 times with clients.
Hmm.
And then by the third one, they're like, I need to write this down. Now,
Hmm.
the reason I'm bringing this up is because sequencing is so emotionally overwhelming to us.
Mm-hmm.
So sequencing shouldn't have an emotional connection to it
Hmm.
because it would just happen in the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
But that's not where it is it, for us? So we're trying to sequence emotionally. And a part
Yeah.
of our brain,
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't neurologically accurate, but we're trying to do it through an emotional lens
Hmm. Yeah. In terms
because
of
we have an
this part I
unreliable,
like, or this is
yeah,
going to be the difficult part, but that's not
exactly.
even the first or
No,
second or third step.
no.
Hmm.
So anytime I'm working with a client, I try to get, is it what, when, or how problem? And so it's always an emotional problem. I want to be very clear to all your
Yes.
listeners. It is
Yes.
always an emotional problem. But
Hmm.
let's try to enter the door to figure out where the emotional issue is. So in the what problem, we are lousy at sequencing. I know, David, you are so smart.
Mm.
And yet you can't sequence your way out of a paper bag most mornings, right?
I definitely have to have a routine, this and this and this in the sequence. And then I'll think, oh yeah, where is the thing I need for that part of the sequence? And I left it somewhere else. So then I'm looking all over the place for it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So as a female, I put on makeup each day. And I have since I was 16 years old. I wear
Hmm.
contacts, and I've worn contacts for 45 years. There are some days, though, and this won't land with you as much as maybe your female listeners. I put on mascara and then go, oh, right, I need to put on contacts.
I can see that
It's
it doesn't
it's
work.
like, what are you doing? Is this your first day on Earth, Tamara? Or I even forget to put in my contacts. And I'll drive. I'm like, wow, it certainly is foggy today. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can't read that stop sign. And I pull back in my driveway. It doesn't happen every day. It happens when I'm overloaded.
Now I'm going to tell a little story about a patient of mine and her contacts.
Yeah.
She said, this is going to sound crazy, but I couldn't understand why the vision in one eye wasn't on, and I just had this sensation there. And I'd go to the eye doctor and he looks, well, and finally, the third time I said, listen, you have to look. It feels like there's something in there. 14 disposable contact lenses behind
Yes.
her eye. 14. I can't imagine that. I
I
don't know
can.
whether forget to take them out. One folds, and so, oh, I got to put one in, and then you
Yeah.
forget that you have to take the other one out. My goodness.
So my eye doctor said that's impossible. It can't happen. I said, well, you just look. And I only had two,
Yeah,
but
but yeah, they're there. They
they
definitely,
were there. And it was like,
the plastic ones. Yeah.
yep. So,
So
yes.
that's the what in the sequencing, and
Yep.
even what seems like an automatic thing,
Yep.
we get thinking about something else and
Yep.
just leave off that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's the mascara, and good
Yep.
heaven.
So the what messes with our motivation because sometimes we don't know how to sequence what we need to do. And then we
Mhm.
get these big feelings about what we have to do. And then it stops us. We don't even know. I don't even know where to start. I can't. I mean,
Yeah, and then
I can't
it's
even
too
tell you how many
overwhelming to
times I've done
start.
this. Yeah.
And some people tell me, well, then I just talk myself out of doing it.
Yep.
Um,
It's the what.
and
Like it's so a lot of times with clients, I really try to get them to do the what. Like, tell me, like I'm a 2-year-old, the what. Okay. And
yep,
so,
what are the steps?
yeah. The
And
next door I go behind is the when. Do you know when? And this is where we have to talk about when is your motivation the highest? Because we all have
kind of
peak.
rhythms.
Yeah, we all have peak motivation times. And let me tell you, 3 o'clock in the afternoon is hardly anyone's motivation time.
No, no.
And you know why, right? Circadian rhythms dip seriously during
Yep.
that time.
And
And
it could be that you didn't have good sleep, or you didn't eat breakfast that day, or you
uh
had only a protein bar for lunch and your blood sugar's
yep,
starting to dive down.
yep.
Um,
And remember, it takes a lot of extra energy to run an ADHD brain.
yeah.
Some
So
of us
that,
just used it all up.
mhm,
So, so if we're trying to do, we're putting something off till 3, that's a what mistake? That's a when mistake. So if
when
we're
you're
like,
trying to
okay,
do it.
between 8, I have a motivation window between 8 and 11. That's
hmm
when I wake up, I'm like, okay, let's get her done. By 3 o'clock, I'm like, yeah, what do I even do for a living? Right?
hmm
So I know my window. I know that's when I have to do things. And that's so I work with clients for their motivation window. And even if they just have a short little window, like, well, I don't know, I think it's just half an hour. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it. Let's
Yeah,
just
go
do
for
that.
it.
Yeah, let's do it.
hmm
But let's try not to do it at night because here's what my clients do. They put off the what all day. And then it gets 9 o'clock. You know the story. 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
One more
They're like,
thing.
you know what? I'm going to clean the closet right now.
hmm
So we need to put up boundaries for ourselves. I don't care how motivated you are past 9 o'clock. You have no business doing anything. It's the night.
Yep. Yep. The one more thing and a big red circle around it and a line through it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yeah. And so um, I see like my clients making mistakes around motivation when there's no understanding of the when. Like, hey,
yeah.
I need to do this hard topic when. Why?
And it,
Because motivation is emotional. And if we have that window, it's slightly less emotional.
yeah. Yeah. And well, there's the energy to almost push past it, or at least some of the get going on it energy is there. And I cringe every once in a while. A patient will come in and say, well, my therapist says I really ought to be on a higher dose because I should be feeling that good energy all day. I think,
No,
no,
that's
no,
not
no,
how
no, no.
humans function.
Number one, that's not what medication's for, to give you the
No,
energy. And you aren't going to have energy all day, no matter how much, well, probably you could taking a lot of Adderall, but that wouldn't be healthy for
that
you.
would really be,
And
yeah.
you'd be real scattered. But the idea that motivation equals energy, no, it doesn't.
No. Okay, but
Not at all.
that's okay. So that's something, and I know we have to get to the third door, but that is something I'd love to talk about a little bit later in our discussion because there's beliefs around motivation.
Yes.
And I think we might need to talk about the beliefs that people bring to motivation because, and you just named one of them. I need energy to be motivated.
hmm
It beliefs a lot of times are partly true, but not fully.
hmm hmm
So
So yeah, I'm gonna hold that thought by writing it down so I can look at it.
great
Um,
modeling,
and
yes,
that third door is how,
is
as in
how.
how you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Um, so a lot of times in how, that's like with the what and the how, they kind of overlap. We're like,
hmm
"Oh, I don't understand like where even to start. And so not in the what category, they're like, this is too wow. I'm describing a jellyfish. Like, how would you like
Mm.
pick up a jellyfish or how? I just know, I just heard one of your listeners think, oh, I picked up a jellyfish. Stop touching jellyfish. Okay.
Yes.
Whoever that listener was, stop touching jellyfish. But it's like, you don't even know, like, where would I hold one? Should I even hold it? And that's like, that's the how that becomes so difficult. Like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, how to start.
I don't know how.
Um,
And our procedural memory, by the way, is very poor. Most of us with ADHD have poor procedural memory. So what happens is our brain starts to tag this amorphous, that I think that's the word I
mhm,
want,
mhm.
thing as being toxic. Like, well, I can't touch it because I don't know how.
Yeah,
I don't know where
I,
to pick it up.
I don't know where to start, and
I don't know where to start. So it's become so big and so ugly that I can't even
and
look at
and
it.
that gets into the whole negative self-talk.
Oh yeah.
Can't, which is another
Yep.
part of dealing with it, which we will also get to.
Yeah.
We aren't going to just talk about the problems, folks. We really are going to get to some of the things you could do about
Yes.
it. But we want
Absolutely.
to define um, these things and the I think the what, when, and how are things that get in our way, and subsets of those, I guess, in
Yeah.
terms of avoidance. I don't want to, as one person said, I know I need to, and then texting me in caps, but I don't wanna.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's I want to stay a 6-year-old and not have to be an adult and
Yeah.
fold the laundry.
This adulting sucks.
Yeah, how about that? It's all this stuff you need to do, even though it's kind of junky.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. S-
and the one person said, yeah, every time I had a paper due, man, my socks were in great order in the drawer.
Yeah.
Now, ordering your socks is not something you would usually do, but there's the paper. It's a lot easier to organize the socks.
Well, and I feel very good about color coding my socks, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's accomplishment, and I got something done, and it's also avoidance, and it's part of the procrastination, putting it off,
Yeah.
procrastivity until the pressure is so much that then I work better under pressure.
Yeah. Here's the
No.
problem, though. David, I'm working on my next book, by the way.
Oh, good.
And this is what I'm trying to write about in my next book. We'll see if I do it. So, my first book, Your Brain's Not Broken, it's like, hey, you need to be seen. So, oh, thank you. Yeah.
There's your book. Your
Yeah.
brain's not broken. This is one of the top 25 books on ADHD by
Oh,
Attitude Magazine at their 25th anniversary. And they said, this is the one of the ones you need. And I absolutely agree.
oh,
You
thanks.
should.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, the first book was trying to answer that. And then I wrote a book about families. And now I'm trying to kind of do a sequel to Your Brain's Not Broken because here's what happens. A lot of my clients are like, Tamara, I think my brain is still broken. Or maybe it's just broken a little, Tamara. And here's what happens when we're working through motivation. We're trying all the time and
Mhm.
we're exhausted and we're overwhelmed and we're just white knuckling our way through life. Well,
And,
where's the joy?
and
Where's the
yes, the other thing I think comes into that is that with ADHD, we see everything as being equally important.
fun? Yeah,
So
yeah,
if, yes, I got 4 things done, but then toward the end of the day, you realize, but that's due tomorrow. That is more important. I should have been doing that. I can't, all those negative self-talk things that come in. Uh,
yeah,
but at the start of things, everything has the equal importance. It's black and white.
yep. Well, yes, but we're exhausted. We're going through our lives exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like failures. Yeah, and so I guess this next book, and again, it's not written yet, so we'll see if I can get it. Um, is what do we do about these patterns? Because
Mm-hmm.
I do feel broken. Like, what do I do? So we should probably get to like I mean, people feel around motivation, they feel broken all the time.
Yeah, and even if you can't identify it, it's there. Just knowing I'm not doing as good as I should be able to do. I'm not doing as good as people expect or that I expect of myself. And as soon as anyone says, I know I should be able to do that, I think should equals shame. And
Uh-huh.
there's I'm not worthy as a person, which doesn't have anything to do with it, but it feels that way. And
Yeah.
that's a tough one to unpack, but definitely important. Uh,
So tough. I see this in women, particularly.
mhm,
And you know this, just from research, that women tend to internalize messages more
mhm,
than their male counterparts. So when you have ADHD and you have a wobbly motivational system,
mhm.
you must there must be a reason. And it can't always be something else. So it's got to be me.
Yeah,
Got to
yeah.
be one. So we're talking about shame. People are like, oh, no, no, no. This isn't shame. This is logical. I
Yeah.
literally am not as, you know what I mean? It's like they make it into an I am statement. And
Yeah.
that's where I see self-loathing creep in.
And I'm thinking of something that I think it's maybe more important to women. You're having friends over and the kitchen looks like good housekeeping.
Yep.
And one person said, yeah, my 12-year-old looked at me and said, is this one of those times we have to pretend we don't have a toaster?
Well, okay. And here's the thing, and this isn't a woe is me, but women with ADHD have it really hard
Oh,
because
yeah,
we are judged
absolutely.
by how clean our house is.
Hmm.
Especially, it depends more where you live. I live in the Midwest. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So if someone walks in to your house and it's not clean, they're not going to judge my husband. They're not going to go, wow, this guy.
Yeah.
Who do they,
Um,
right? Even though I have a career, he has a career, they will
and
automatically.
and I mean, it may be clean, but it's not picked up, so then it
Right?
doesn't look clean. It's not like there's junk all over the counter
Yeah.
or dirty streaks here and there, but still, yeah, it's not. And I think women put the also societal pressure, put the
Yeah.
expectation on themselves that they are the ones responsible for that. Um,
Oh, I'm sure you see this too. So we see women overfunction, and we
mhm.
see women who overfunction all the time for their families. And overfunctioning means like you're doing more than your fair share here, right?
Yes, yes.
You're holding the family together. And then they wonder, why don't I have the motivation to do this thing?
Hmm.
Well, sister,
And
I can tell you, I'm not a coach, so I'll usually just ask questions, but I'm thinking, well, what if you stopped overfunctioning? You're
yeah,
using up
well,
all your
well,
motivational energy.
hmm but then my son wouldn't have his shoes for his baseball game. And this wouldn't, your 14-year-old can really learn how to pack his own sports bag. And if he doesn't
Yeah,
have the shoes the next day, well,
let his
boy,
coach yell
life's tough. But that doesn't feel right. And
at him. Yeah.
are other people going to say, well, your mom didn't do a real good job checking on you, did she?
Okay. That is exactly. So I've always had a career. I've had the flexible enough careers where I could be mom at the same time. But I remember one day my middle child was in fourth grade and they were going to the pool for like swim lessons or whatever they
Mm-hmm.
did at the pool. And
Mm-hmm.
she forgot her bathing suit. She calls me at work. I'm 45 minutes away. She's like, Mom, I forgot my bathing suit. I'm like, well, then you'll have to sit there today. I think they were going for like a week. You'll have to
Yeah.
sit on the side of the pool or, the side on the bench for today. We'll remember it tomorrow. And the mothers in my neighborhood thought I was abusive.
Ah,
One of the mothers went home, got a bathing suit of one of her daughters, gave it to my daughter, and the shame, I mean, literally they were shaming me.
Ah,
I'm not saying this is in my head. They're like, well, I just couldn't
yep.
let your daughter I couldn't let your daughter sit there. I'm like,
No, thank you very much.
yeah, I'm like,
But
thank you. But you hear there was so
oh
much. And then
yeah, oh
another
yeah.
woman in the neighborhood said, oh gosh, I'm glad to be out of this stage of my life. Yeah, I heard Brooke didn't have her bathing suit yesterday. I'm like, oh, we're talking about this. Okay. Like, but do you hear like who was judged? Was my husband judged? No,
Yeah. And your daughter wasn't judged either. That
no.
it's like, well, mom's supposed to help her remember to do
Yeah.
things. So then that over function for everyone else. And I'll ask my patients every time, what do you do for stress relief? You're feeling more stressed. And either, oh, I don't know, or, well, I scroll on my phone. Um, and when do you do that? Oh, 10 o'clock when everybody's, so when is it you're trying to get to bed? Oh, I do it in bed. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So this brings up another interesting thing. And I think we may have talked about window of tolerance before. Have we talked about this together?
Window of tolerance?
Yes. Um,
I don't think
I,
so.
I talk about it in my second book, but I'm just saying that as a reference, not, um, so motivation, we also have to be in our window of tolerance to really have the right motivation.
Hmm.
So I'll just quickly describe window of tolerance. It's an easy concept. So there, and some of your listeners are imagining a real window. Okay, imagine a real window.
Mm-hmm.
Above that is what we call hyper arousal. It's like you're in full like fight or flight, like
Mm-hmm.
ah, right? In in the window of tolerance, you're relaxed enough to like think, okay, what am I going to do? What do I value? What do I want to do right now? How is this tied to who I am? How is it tied to what I value? That's in the window thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Below the window is this hypoarousal. And that's when we just doom scroll. We're in this frozen state.
Mm-hmm. Just
And
veg
so
on the couch.
yep. And so
Yeah.
my clients are so used to motivation in the hyperarousal. I
Mm-hmm.
need to like throw myself and be doing it like a bear is chasing me. Well, that's hyperarousal.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of motivation is costly. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And,
And
and
that's where the
yeah, if we
exhaustion by the end of the day.
yeah, if we can learn to be in our window of tolerance, and you know this, many of our patients slash clients are have a tiny window of tolerance, meaning
Hmm.
we're not in it for a lot during the day.
No,
So,
it's either go all out and
yep,
then um,
crash, yep,
collapse because of, and this is gets to that afternoon crash,
yeah,
maybe all the exhaustion of all the morning, and you've had meetings and have to kind of keep track of stuff in three different meetings in a row. And
yeah,
plus, there's those other things on your to-do list. And okay, you got through some of them. And then, I mean, if you had lunch, okay, then there's that kind of slowdown after lunch, the circadian rhythm,
yep,
energy's down. Um, there's a really interesting concept that apparently is human nature, whether it's um, tribes in Africa or people in any country, any culture, where the decision making kind of sharpness is high in the morning
yep,
and then it goes down and there's a downward trend in the afternoon. Then it comes picks back up again. And this is Daniel Pink wrote
yep,
about it in his book When, as
yep,
far as when to make decisions. Make your
yep,
analytical decisions in the morning,
yeah,
and your creative and kind of more free thinking ones in the afternoon. And I'm thinking, oh, great. Does that mean I have to put my hard patients in the morning and
yeah,
have
right?
easier fun to talk with people in the afternoon? That doesn't happen.
Well, but see, that's different because when you're talking to your heart patients, that's a different type of thinking. It's still
Yeah.
decision making, but it's not at the novice level.
Hmm.
we want to keep our novice level, meaning like this is brand new territory. I've got to lay this out. That's for the early morning.
Hmm.
This isn't your first year as a doctor. So you're like,
No,
okay,
it's somewhere around
it,
50th,
yeah, somewhere.
somewhere
So
in there.
you have in your head, you have more of a decision tree.
Oh yeah,
So if you have a decision tree, that's okay to keep those decisions to the
yeah,
afternoon.
and that's where the what and the how.
Yeah,
There's a starting point there um, that's just by now it's kind of automatic, and I have
yeah,
to sometimes pull myself back and think, okay, but this isn't the regular presentation of this. Let's
right.
go back into more analytical
Uh-huh.
what's going on here
Yeah.
as far as
But you
the
still follow a
presentation.
tree of thought
Hmm. And
because
when
you're like,
there,
okay, the problem, he's not following this pattern because of this. Okay.
mhm.
So here, and
And
so,
then where does that take me in the next part? And when
and that's
the
rehearsed. That's what I call rehearsed thinking. You know,
mhm,
even if
yeah.
there's a problem in that tree, you have this conceptual framework where you can think about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
And
yeah,
when there isn't a conceptual framework, there may be something that's a routine, but then, well, it's vacation and the usual morning routine of school and one thing and another, that's gone. Or
yeah,
now it's summer vacation and whole different set of
yeah,
camp and sports and meeting friends and everything is totally different than the
yeah,
structured part of school. Then
yeah,
that decision tree is out the window.
yeah. I think that's so. I think that's so important when we talk about so motivation is decision making,
Hmm.
right? And that conceptual framework. Now, I talked to you about the window of tolerance, and I hope
Hmm.
that is clear enough to your listeners. The window of tolerance is when we're relaxed and alert enough where we're like, okay, I can think my way through this. I don't have the dopamine surge to do it. I'm just relaxed and alert. Okay. At that point, our conceptual framework for motivation can become what do I want to value? What do I value as a person? What do I value? And so, how do I prioritize this because of what I value? And so, I don't want to do the laundry. And I don't feel like I value clean clothes right now. Okay. Is it going to bug you though that it's not done? Well, yeah, it is going to bug me. And so in that window of thinking, we try to have a conceptual framework.
That what occurs to me is in terms of approaching the task that seems difficult in the window of tolerance, that's when it's more likely and more possible to say, no, wait a second, what's going on now? What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? And where does that come from? How does that um, get in the way of what I need to do? What can I do to be good to myself that can help things move along? But when you're in the hyper, no way, there's no time to think about anything. I've just got to be doing. And when you're in the hypo, forget it. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to have to think. So you need to be in that window to kind of step back a little bit and start with what am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling upset? Am I feeling angry? Um, Somehow your sound went away.
Well, that's because I put myself on mute. And
Oh,
evidently
well,
it's my
that'll do it.
first day on Zoom. Yes. So, uh, so I think what we have to do is understand that that window tolerance is a nervous system response. So
Hmm.
we're confusing a task with a bear chasing us.
Yes.
So I am going to respond by either freezing, playing dead, or
Hmm.
going fighting the bear.
Hmm.
I am sure you've seen those videos of people who've hit the black bear on their nose, and the bear
Hmm.
goes away. I don't know which one I would be, but either way, um, you have to, that's how they're treating a task.
Yeah.
Ideally, a task is not to be seen as a threat.
Yeah, when it's a threat to self-esteem, it's a threat from what other people are going to think if I don't get it done. What am I going to think of myself if I don't get it done? And
Yeah.
then that amplifies that threat aspect.
And our nervous system responds because our brain tells our body what to do and vice versa, right? And
Hmm.
so our nervous system was like, well, Tamara, I got a real good idea. You sit on that couch and you scroll because maybe that problem will go away.
Yeah, maybe just ignore it.
La 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 la. It's going to go away. That's what I think. So that, and we struggle with overwhelm, right? So so we have to understand if we're in this hypoarousal, just doom scrolling, we
Hmm.
have to understand this is a nervous system thing. And so you
Yeah,
can't get motivation if you're in hypoarousal, but you can get your body moving, which just
yes, and
increases
that's
the likelihood.
that. Yeah, just
And
sitting there, it definitely is not, and that's where that brain-body connection. Your
yeah,
brain wants to sit around. Well, if you can get your body moving, just move something.
yeah. So
Get up.
here's a quick strategy. You're stuck on the couch. You don't want to move. Uh-oh. I'm out of potato chips, though. By the way, that's my vice. I don't smoke or
Mm-hmm.
drink. I eat potato chips. It's real bad. But anyway, I'm like, wish I had more chips. Okay, when I get up, I'm going to get a little bit more, but I'm also going to put my hands in cold water. And I'm going to wash my hands in cold water. Now, when you do that, that changes how you're thinking. Because your
Mm-hmm.
brain's like, wait a minute, we're probably not in danger. And we feel this sensation, huh? And it puts us back in our body. Because on the
Mm-hmm.
couch, I just drifted off somewhere, right?
Yes. Yep.
It's such a small little thing. Now, here's the other thing I use, and I do it frequently. And my dogs love it. For those, I don't know if your viewers can watch, but
Mm-hmm.
behind me are my office mates. Today
Mm-hmm.
I have two large labs in here with me. And one of my strategies to get motivated is I use music and
Mm-hmm.
dance music, not EDM, but
Yeah.
some of my
No.
clients like EDM. It personally makes me angry, but I use music to stimulate my brain.
Yeah. Yep.
Once it's stimulated, then they're like, oh, you know what? I can unload the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking ahead of when I'm in that window of tolerance, when I'm thinking, how am I going to get myself to get on the bike in the morning? Just do it. Don't think about it. Okay, I plan for it by making a playlist that's an
Yeah,
active ride your bike one. And
yeah,
I don't have to go turn on anything. I just have to say, Alexa, play my playlist.
yeah,
Go.
yeah,
And then that gets me going. I get on the bike and once you're going, that's great. But
yeah.
it gets past that, but I really don't want to. I'm tired and it's cold and
Well, but remember, ADHD people also have, let's take your bite example. They also have sensory issues. Like,
mhm,
you know, I need a heated
oversensitive.
seat. I hate how that seat feels. It's always so cold and hard. I hate that. And then they start to dread the bicycle seat, which stops them, right?
Hmm.
So if I were working with a client and they were saying, well, I know I should ride my bike. I feel great when I do it. I would go through the three doors. So tell me, what is it that you could be avoiding? And they're like, oh, I keep meaning to get the seat because I hate it. I just hate the feel. And remember, we
Hmm.
have sensory issues,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so the
Hyper.
sensory issues kind of stop us from engaging, right? So see how complicated motivation is?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah,
We're going to go back around to the beliefs,
yeah.
the,
Good job.
the misbeliefs, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Uh,
False beliefs. Yeah, yeah,
so, what are some of the ones that you see in your clients?
yeah. So first of all, the first you brought up, I just can't. That Carol Dweck, a lot of your listeners will know Carol Dweck. She studies mindset. That is a fixed mindset. If you're telling yourself you can't, the decision is made. You made a decision.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be unkind here. That is a decision in your brain and body. Now
Hmm.
you've told it. That is true.
If you
And
think you
there's
can or
something,
you think you can't, you're right.
yeah, exactly. And there's something that we're really learning through the positive psychology movement and research is that what you tell your brain, it believes. It
Hmm.
really does believe it. So if you're like, I can't, you're like, okay,
All right. That's it. Why waste time trying to do that?
yeah,
And
yep. So another belief is kind of hidden in fear. Is when my clients are like, um, they'll say, I can't do it. And I'm like, tell me about that. Well, really, there's a fear behind there. And the fear
hmm.
is they won't be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Won't be good enough for whoever I'm supposed to be doing for it, who's going to judge it.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
One of my naughty dogs just started eating something he ought not to. So yes, that's the belief of I can't. Then
Hmm.
we get into the belief of, well, who am I to do this?
Hmm.
And I see that when people try to do things like get a dissertation. Well, who am I? I'm not that smart. And they start to do the I am statements, but they're
Yeah.
really, David, they're bad I am statements. And
Yeah.
so
That
when I'm,
label ourselves.
yeah. And so when I'm working with that client, I'm like, whoa, let's rewrite some I am statements here.
Hmm.
Because you have the belief of who am I to do this, right? And that messes with our motivation. What
Hmm.
other ones have you heard?
I'm thinking of one example from a very interesting book called Procrastination as a Creative Strategy. That's the subtitle. But um, he was talking about people who say, well, I'm not creative. And I said, well, the definition of creativity is make that which is not.
Yeah.
And you're being creative if you put a little um, swirl in the icing on a cake, on a
Yeah.
cupcake someone else has put the icing on, and you put a swirl in there.
Yeah.
That's something that wasn't there before. You write one sentence, you write anything
Yeah.
in terms of your dissertation. Doesn't matter what it is, you're going to go
Yeah.
back and revise it anyway, but
Right.
you get something down there and you've created right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Another false belief I hear a lot is, and I usually have to dig. By the way, when I ask clients about false beliefs, they don't say, "Oh, Tamara, easy. Here's my false belief."
Yeah.
No one, we don't see our false beliefs because we've built our reality on them, and
Hmm.
it's a weak foundation. It's not great. So, one of the beliefs is I can't trust myself to do this.
Hmm. And I've
And
got it kind of along that line. I can't help myself. I
yes,
can't,
yes,
I can't help myself. I just do this. I
yeah,
can't help myself from scrolling instead of um, thinking of
right.
what we're going to have for dinner, whatever.
Yes.
Um, and
Yeah.
it's a variation on I can.
Yeah, it is. All these are slight variations, but we have to figure out what the belief is
Hmm.
because, I'm a business owner. And when I was first started, I'm like, what am I doing owning a business? I'm an English major for Pete's sake. I shouldn't be doing this. I can tell you
Hmm.
about Shakespeare. I shouldn't be telling you about tax law. I really don't know much about tax law still. I just hired someone. But, um, I had this belief. I'm an English major. I shouldn't be messing around with businesses.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
hear that?
Yep.
That almost stopped me from starting the ADHD Center. And so we've got to be careful about our belief systems. And so we catch our belief systems. Here's one quick exercise. If your listeners are wondering, how do we catch these? Uh,
Yeah. How do you,
is write down a whole bunch of I am statements. Time yourself 1 minute and write down all the I am statements about yourself. I am creative.
I
I am
am.
curious. and write down all the things for a
I am
full minute.
lazy. I am stupid. I am not good enough.
Right.
Whatever they are, all of them.
Yep. And then you circle the ones that are interesting and negative. And
Hmm.
then we're going to circle those and we're going to be very curious about those. So then we're going to, after each one, we're going to go, well, why would I believe that? And we have good reasons. We can concoct a story for each one of those negative
Hmm.
items, right? Then, and by the way, the key here is you can't put your pencil down for a full minute. And
Hmm.
sometimes I make clients do this for 2 minutes. Um, we're just trying to exhaust all the items we can think about,
Hmm.
right? Then for each one we go, why would I believe that? And then we do, is this always true? Is this
Hmm.
sometimes true? Has this been true in the past week? And we start to examine it to go, well, maybe that was just an example of one time when I was 16 and I'm 25 now.
Hmm. Hmm.
What if that's not part of my current repertoire as a human?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a
Just
big one. There's that memory part and context, and for some things, we're
yeah,
stuck in being 25 or 6
yeah,
or whatever.
yes, yeah. Yeah. So that's a way they can kind of get at these false behaviors because a lot of times these beliefs, I am lazy. Well, if I tell myself I'm lazy, I'm going to believe it. So the last step is, well, what's a different way you could talk to yourself?
Hmm.
And one of my clients said, sometimes I don't feel like I have the energy, but I know eventually I can do it. See, that's restating this I am lazy too.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I may not feel like I have the energy, but I know that I can do it eventually.
Yeah. I like particularly the I am, because that's our self definitions. And
Yeah,
if there aren't, maybe there are two interesting things and 14 negative ones,
yeah,
then you explore, now, wait a second. You're loyal, you're a good friend, uh,
yeah,
you are helpful, you volunteer. I am so there are a number of, uh, of things that you
yeah,
can redefine. And if there truly aren't too many things that are interesting or positive, all
yeah.
right, let's explore some things you can do to
Yeah.
change that.
It's funny, and you know this. One of the thinking errors that ADHD people make on the regular basis. All humans
Hmm.
do this, but we're better at it than other people. Black and white thinking.
Yes.
We are excellent. We get degrees in black and white thinking. That
Hmm.
means either something's this or this. It can't be in the middle.
Hmm.
Um, I was just coaching my daughter who works at the ADHD center with me, and I said there were something happening in the center. Someone was saying black, the other person saying white. And I said, our job as leaders is to think in shades of gray because
Hmm.
we have to think, yes, part this, yes, part this. We can't get caught into the trap of black and white thinking,
No,
right?
and no person is always this or always that.
Exactly.
Um, there are
No
times.
situation, yeah, no situation can be that. So we really always have to always challenge our thinking.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I fall into black and white thinking everyone I work with does
Oh,
because that's our
sure.
default.
Yeah. And that well, I've got to make a decision and it's this way or that way,
Yeah,
instead of seeing that, yeah, there's some middle ground in
yeah.
there. Try
And by,
something. It's
yeah. And by the way, we do this cognitive distortion for a good reason. We use it as a shortcut because we have divergent brains we can think of so many different options.
yes.
Get
Yeah.
tired.
Yep. It's
Too
um,
many options. So
too many
chocolate or vanilla,
options. Yep. And
marker spoon.
what I call the toothpaste quandary.
Yes,
I
yes,
like basic toothpaste. Yes, I like the one I grew up with.
yes.
I don't want whitening. I don't want one
Right.
thing or another and ultra this and that. I just want toothpaste. So I know now when I get to the toothpaste display in the store, I get on my hands and knees because the
Yeah.
basic one is going to be on the bottom.
Yes.
But to look at all that, it's no, I don't want that. It's overwhelming decision. And
My
there,
husband, yeah, he just got back from the store a couple days ago, and I forget what I sent him to buy. But he came back. I said, "Oh, do you know you got?" Oh, it was canned tomatoes, or yeah, canned tomatoes. I'm like, "Oh, do you know you got the kind with peppers in it?" And he looked at me and goes, "Tamara, he has ADHD too. Tamara, that aisle is so overwhelming. I'm
oh,
just glad I left there with a can." Like,
yes. And it said tomato somewhere on the label.
it
Yeah.
said tomato, and it was diced, and
Oh, yeah. Diced, fire roasted, or crushed, or pureed, or
he's like,
whole.
that is the most overwhelming aisle for me. And I
That
said, well,
one.
actually, they're all overwhelming because we live in the US. So we have so many choices here. But it was funny because that's why we take that cognitive shortcut, black and white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're also taking a shortcut, that same shortcut with motivation. Same shortcut. Am I motivated? Yes or no? We're not
And,
asking ourselves how motivated. 0 to 5.
and then defining, and this I think is the belief of motivation means I have energy and I know how to do it, and so it's just going to happen.
Oh, that's
Um,
another belief.
yeah, exactly.
I need energy for motivation.
And
You are correct. You need cellular energy to move your body. Yes. You don't need as much mental motivation as you think you do.
and you don't need a jolt of a stimulant or coffee
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that to, okay, when I have this, then I'll be motivated.
Right.
Um,
Right.
you may
Yeah.
be motivated to find your phone and start scrolling Instagram.
Yeah.
You're motivated, but not on what you need to be. And our time is coming to a close, and as usual, we could keep going for another hour
No.
or so, folks, but hopefully you've come up with a lot of nuggets here in terms of motivation. It's not just energy, doing something like getting a cup of coffee or increasing your Adderall dosage. That's not going to do it for you, but maybe just get up and move so you're not sitting there and your brain will start to follow your body and get some more activity. And if you look at what is it you need to do and when are you going to do it? So you're putting some tasks in certain times of the day and how, um, look at those steps. I love the I am statements and putting down as many as you can and then look at what are the interesting ones and what
Yeah.
are the negative ones. And then countering some of those negative beliefs about yourself, and about the way motivation works.
Yeah.
So hopefully some of you have been taking notes, and thankfully you can go back and listen to other parts of the podcast or go back and look at it and come up with some great ideas. My guest today has been Dr. Tamara Rosier, who is chief coach and bottle washer at the ADD Center of Western Michigan, right?
Yep.
Got it,
Yep.
not Central. Um, and I am your host of the podcast ADHD Focus with David Pomeroy, MD. And I'm wishing you a good week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for listening to this edition of ADHD Focus with Dr. David Pomeroy. This show is not intended to be a recommendation for diagnosis or treatment of any condition for any specific person. Please consult your mental health professional or doctor managing your ADHD or mental health issues about any diagnosis or treatment-related information that you hear on the show. Refer your ADHD provider to this show if he or she would like more information.